Hello and welcome to another episode of Cooking Together with Kanika and Sakshi. Since it's winters where we live, we've decided to cook with a winter vegetable. Our favorite is the carrot, especially the lal gajar. Sakshi is joining me on call. Sakshi, what are you cooking?
One of my favorite sabzis is Gajar Matar ki sabzi. I love it with namak ajwain ki paranthi, and it reminds me of rushing to school on winter mornings, and my breakfast used to be a namak ajwain ki paranthi and just a roll of the sabzi. So it's lots of nostalgia, and it's savory and sweet. The combination of this the paranthi with this very sweet sabzi. It was very pleasing for the palate of a child who did not yet develop an appreciation for heat or chili or something. What about you? What are you cooking?
Like a lot of recipes that I end up cooking, this also originates with friends and family. My Dadi ji actually made gajar once with ajwain. That's it. She just used ajwain in the tadka and very simple seasoning. I'm not sure whether she's always done it or she picked it up somewhere. She loves to read, she loves to ask people about their food, and she's constantly learning. She's like in her 80s and she's constantly learning, which is so great. So this is a recipe she made this for us once. I've only eaten it once with her, but I've cooked it several times after that and I enjoy it. The gajar really shines here. Not as soft and mushy as what you're talking about, but really great to bite into with a paratha or a missi roti.
That sounds delicious. So here's to things old and new. Let's start cooking.
Okay, we have our aprons on and we are ready to cook. I need a kadhai with a lid. What do you need, Sakshi? How do you cook?
Same here. People can use a pan, they can use a kadhai, whatever they use, you need to have a lid, because what you're doing is that you're giving it a quick tadka. In my case, I think it's the same for you. You give it a quick tadka and then you put a lid on it so that it cooks in steam.
Not very different, except that we're using different ingredients and we're just playing around with the carrots to flavor them differently. I'm just going to let my kadhai warm up. In the meantime, do you want to tell us quickly if there's any ingredient that we need to really have in this recipe? Something that's essential?
In this recipe, I think it's just gajar and matar. And I made it with orange carrots. If you have orange carrots, make it with that, right? I just use it with the basic spices that are in my masaldan. And what's in my masaldan, and I understand this varies for people. It depends on what you cook more often. So being a North Indian, the most common thing for me is jeera. So there's jeera, there is mirch, haldi, namak, dhania, and there is some garam masala powder.
Like you were saying that everybody's masaldan is different. I don't have a masaldan, I just keep everything in jars. So I have taken my ingredients out and they're laid out right here. I am using just ajwain, salt, haldi, mirchi. The one thing that is optional in this recipe is garlic. You don't always have to use it. Main emphasis is to, enjoy the flavor of the carrots with just a bit of ajwain. I am using garlic because I really enjoy it. Is there a preference in the oil that you use? I cook in olive oil. Do you have any preference?
I cook in sunflower oil, sometimes canola oil. So my parents, they love to use mustard oil, but I find it a little, like, it's been a while since I've cooked everything in mustard oil, so it's a little spicy, I think. So I don't use it as much, but yeah, that's another option. It gives a nice flavor.
The next time that I make this recipe, I'll try it with mustard oil because that is a very flavorful oil. in for the ajwain. Nice and it's bloomed, it's flavorful. I can smell it. Don't ever be afraid of whiffing the smoke rising from your pan, because that tells you what the smell is like. I'm going in with the garlic. My garlic is also browning. I'm going to now salt this. There are two ways of seasoning this recipe. You can either salt it while you're making the tadka, or you can salt it and season it after you've put in the carrots. The choice is absolutely up to you. I do it beforehand because I find when you season the tadka, you actually are able to get better coverage and you're able to mix things around better. You know, the whole vegetable gets the flavor. So I put in salt, I put in some lal mirch, I put in haldi, and you can just quickly stir that. I have reduced the heat of my pan because I don't want things to burn. My garlic browned very quickly. So I'm going to go in with my carrots now. The tadka is ready. The entire tadka with the gajar, and then I'm going to cover it and cook it covered for about 5 to 7 minutes, or until I can see that it's soft and the carrots are cooked, but I don't want them mushy.
I'm pouring in oil. I'm also using 1 or 2 tablespoons of oil, I think somewhere in the middle, and I haven't measured. I just poured it out and it's just heating up, and I think it's somewhat hot. Once it's glistening, I'm going to add a teaspoon of jeera so that it starts sizzling. I will wait for it to sizzle. I am going to put in some jeera. Oh, it's sizzling. I don't want it to burn. I'll be watchful. The color has slightly changed, the jeera has slightly swelled up, and I'm going in with the carrots, the chopped carrots that I've prepared. Splash. So I've started to coat it with oil and jeera, and I'm not going to wait much. I'm quickly going to drain the matar, the green peas. I'm using frozen matar. Folks back home are definitely using fresh matar. So I have put it in water to let it thaw. You can put frozen matar directly. So I've drained the peas and I'm going to put them in. You can put more peas. These are roughly 1 cup or half cup. Half cup, you can put more. And like you, I'm also going to season it right now. So I want the salt to be absorbed, that's why I'm going to add it right now. I'm also adding mirch and haldi right now. I will wait till I put the coriander so that I don't burn it. I don't know what the water content of the sabzi is right now, so that it doesn't burn. I've stirred the masala in, the mirch, haldi and namak in. I'm going to cover it with a lid, and my heat is on medium. I'm going to medium low maybe. So I'm going to let this steam for some time. This will take, I think, 10 minutes or so to cook. So halfway through, around the 5-minute mark or something, or earlier. So I'm going to just check for doneness, and if it's like somewhat done, I'm going to put in coriander and mix it in and let it steam further.
You mentioned that you're using frozen peas and they're just thawed, so you've obviously not pre-cooked them in any way, right?
No, I haven't. So the advantage of it being winter produce, and if you're buying fresh peas in pods, a lot of time that is what is called meathi matar. It's like kacha matar, which is really sweet. And you don't need to cook it. You can just put it in the pan, it will cook in the steam. And remember, the gajar is harder. It will take some time. So meanwhile, the peas will also cook.
So I think it's time for us to just wait and watch.
Oh, so much steam. The carrots have quite a lot of water, but that's fine because I want them to be mushy and they'll cook in this water. At this time now, I'm going to add dhania powder. Also soaked up the water at the bottom.
These carrots are pretty juicy, so they are leaving a lot of water. It looks like I might not need to add any additional water at all to get them to steam. But unlike you, I haven't tasted a lal gajar in ages. I've only had to make do with the orange ones. But we somehow just don't get the lal gajar anywhere outside of India. I mean, you're close by in Dubai, so you are getting it.
So this is from Pakistan or India. So Pakistan also cultivates this, and they also love their gajrela like we do. So that's another beautiful recipe using these gajars.
While we wait for the carrots to steam, I'm just going to chop a little bit of dhania for the garnish and maybe also some carrot top leaves. Sakshi, so when you chop dhania, what method do you use? I remember they would, clean the dhania, remove all the leaves from the stem and then use those. I, on the other hand, are less discriminating and I use the stem as well in my garnish. I will often just remove the absolute ends.
I do not waste the stem. So I remember I was watching this video on avocados and the person who was talking about it was Mexican, and he said, why do people not like coriander? They don't like coriander because they don't use the stems, and if you use only the leaf, then that has a soapy taste to it. People don't appreciate that the coriander stalks have ton of flavor. So I use it, especially Indian cooking, and I use everything. I use the patta, I use the stem.
My mom and I, we were watching a cooking show, and this was a person in India. He said not using the dhania stems is actually quite a travesty, that you should. You're losing out on all the flavor. So tab se, there's been a change.
So I'm going to test. It is quite dry. Let's try mashing.
I'm just going to stick them in a spoon and try them. Maybe just a minute or two more.
If I switch on the heat right now, it will cook in steam and it will be done. So this is done now, and I'm going to sprinkle just a bit of garam masala on top, and I'll close the lid again until I'm ready to serve it again.
I'm going to add a few carrot top greens that I have.
There you have it, two beautiful sabzis. Carrots made two ways. It's in season. Make it whichever way you like. Kanika, are you going to wait or are you going to dig in already?
Oh no, I can't wait. I'm going to dig in. Try carrots, enjoy the season produce. As Sakshi said, don't miss an opportunity to enjoy the flavor while it's in season. Please like, share, subscribe to our YouTube channel, spread the word, and of course share your inputs and your feedback. We really look forward to hearing from you. So until next time, see you, keep cooking, keep eating.